once I get to this stage in the gardening season, I'm usually pretty over it.
Been waiting for the right day, like the right day ever comes. Now it's Friday.
Join me today as I'm attempting a garden harvest after several weeks of not being able to get into the garden. You know, life just being how it is. We just had several days of really heavy rain, and that tends to cause tomatoes to crack and split. So I'm hoping I'm not too late to get a harvest for this season. Tomatoes are one of the things I was most excited to grow this year. I had such big visions of having a whole sauce garden and being able to can my own tomato sauce, which may still go up on the channel. I've got some tomatoes waiting to be canned as we speak, so stick around for that. But honestly, tomatoes have just been a struggle for me all season long, between the groundhogs attacking my plants and then feeling like everything was stunted and took a long time to grow. And now I'm ready to harvest what I can from these plants and move on to some fall crops. I'm ready for cabbage and Brussels sprouts. I want kale. I want Swiss chard. I want all the fall veggies. I do have some carrots and beets that were underplanted underneath the tomatoes. That's what's in the back row there. And I end up thinning those a little bit. So I'm hoping I'll be able to start harvesting some carrots and beets and other things, some other root crops as well, coming here in a few weeks. But it feels good to finally start to say goodbye to the tomato plants, cut them back, and make space for something else. One of the things I've been thinking about is how to create more beauty or more spaces for like gratitude or appreciation in my life, because while there is stress, and everybody has stress in their life, there's also a lot of good and a lot of beauty. So decided to harvest some flowers from the garden while I was out getting the veggies, and made a little arrangement later that night before bed. It's a new day out in the garden, and today the goal is to clean up the bed where I was growing my watermelons. I unfortunately don't really have footage of me harvesting the watermelon because I ran out in the early morning when it was still pitch black outside to cut them off the vine on the day that the rain started about like a week and a half ago, because I did not want the watermelons to crack the way the tomatoes did. So I did harvest those at a time where there was no light for me to film, but I brought it inside and cut it open, and it was delicious. Absolutely one of the favorite things that I grew this year was this watermelon.
Come on. Now, once I get to this stage in the gardening season, I'm usually pretty over it. And this year especially has just been so interesting and challenging in ways I didn't anticipate as a new homeowner. Finding the time to prioritize my garden has sometimes been really hard. We unearthed a marigold. See if we can replant this. But yeah, it's been definitely a fun learning experience this year. I did learn some things, which is I love growing watermelon, and also you should definitely just give your watermelon its own bed, because if you try to make it share with anything at all, the watermelon will win and your other plants will lose. I am tearing these up pretty much by the roots because it looks like these beans have some kind of a fungus or pest damage. Otherwise, I would leave the roots, because leaving the roots of your bean plants in the ground helps with nitrogen fixation, which is good for the soil. But obviously, pests and fungus, unmanaged, not good for the soil. My guess as to why this happened is probably because this bed was covered all season. I never did have a chance to fence it, and this was the only way that I could manage to keep animals from eating it, was to just cover it with landscape fabric. Frost cloth, row cover fabric. And that sort of worked. It definitely worked in terms of everything didn't get eaten by groundhogs, but did definitely get eaten by insects and whatever kind of fungus or mites were in the ground.
Sunrise 4 a.m. You see, get in the car, we can run away. I hardly even knew you, but I knew that I can't lose you. For 1 or 2, maybe 3 years, I've been feeling nothing at all. But then I saw your face lighting up my space. Got me going like that, lighting up my space. You do, like a candle in the dark. Ooh, getting warmer every time I'm with you. Sunday in pouring rain, I felt kinda low. Is it all in vain? Then you hit me up and everything just turned again.
Marigolds look awesome though, and that's a bright spot at the end of the season. This very well may be the last of the tomatoes that we harvest this season, so definitely wanted to share. Sometimes I see people online who are harvesting in July, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong that it seems like I never get any type of a harvest until basically the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season? And even then, it's way less than what I thought I was going to be getting, or way less than what I had planned for. Anyway, tons of goodies here to enjoy, and one toddler rake. Okay. See what we got.
My space, you do, like a candle in the dark. Ooh, getting warmer every time I'm with you. Whoa, lighting up my space, you do, like a candle in the dark. Ooh, getting warmer every time I'm with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is the unintended story here, is that I'm just gonna harvest a lot of green tomatoes so that I don't have to come back out and harvest again.
You just spoiled with your love, got no doubt that you are lovely. Oh, you're so lovely. Lighting up my space, you do, like a candle in the dark. Ooh, getting warmer every time I'm with you.
Yeah, that's it for now. That's pretty good.
Lighting up my space, you do, like a candle in the
So here, this is probably not the most ideal spot, but here is going to be our pear tree. It needs to get in the ground sooner rather than later. I haven't yet had a chance to finish clearing the brush pile area, so that's really not clear for planting. So it's going to be here. Oh my goodness. This may not be the spot if I can't dig it. Ugh. Beep, beep. Okay. I'm sure this isn't the most ideal way for planting a tree, but working with what we got. End of season. Using the grass that we tore out around the base, gonna just cover it in some mulch when we're done. Yeah. The base of the tree, a little room to breathe.
I'm adding cardboard here as layers of mulch around the tree. This will break down over time and eventually just degrade and be part of the soil. I like to use cardboard as opposed to landscape fabric or something else synthetic because it can eventually break down, but it does help to suppress the weeds in the grass when I'm trying to get new plants or new garden beds established. All you really have to do is wet the cardboard. When it's wet, it will more easily start to break down. and then I cover it completely in mulch.
Actually, if I had enough fencing, this would be a pretty good way to keep the tree safe. Just wrap it all the way around the swing set. But unfortunately, the swing set is coming down sooner rather than later, and I don't have enough fencing to wrap it all the way around the swing set. So I'll have to find some stakes. Garden stake. And
Something about planting a tree that just brings me such a sense of accomplishment and pride. I'm not really sure what it is about planting a tree versus planting any other plant. Maybe it's the fact that trees live for a really long time and they have such incredible networks and ways that they contribute to the environment and feed animals, and hopefully this pear tree will also feed us. But yeah, something about planting something that will grow to be so big and will hopefully exist for such a long time. The permanence of it feels like, wow, I really did something today. I planted a tree. I planted something that could potentially still be here in 50 years. I don't know if I'll still be here in 50 years, but who knows? This tree, it probably will be, unless someone cuts it down. So that's pretty exciting to think about. And in general, I just have so many big dreams for this garden and things that I want to do. Especially, I really would love to get into more landscaping with native plants. If you are interested in hearing more about the landscaping I've done with native plants, or if you want to learn more about, in general, just my dreams for my garden and garden projects that I've been able to accomplish so far my first year as a new homeowner, then you can check out my September garden tour, which I will leave linked in the description box below for you to watch until my next video. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.